Breaking news out of Georgia, where lawmakers have just passed a sweeping voting bill that would make it harder to vote by mail, limit voting hours, and curb the use of drop boxes, and would allow for state takeovers of local election offices, among other things. It is one of the first major bills to pass amid a wave of voter suppression measures being introduced in states across the country. At least 250 bills have been introduced in 43 states. The measure now heads to the desk of Republican Governor Brian Kemp, who is expected to sign it tonight. Joining us now is MSNBC contributor Aaron Haynes of the 19th. Aaron, this is going to make a lot of people very, very concerned about the integrity of our elections coming up. Your thoughts about what this portends for voter restriction laws that are in state legislatures across the country?
Well, a couple of thoughts, Alex. One, Georgia is once again kind of leading the way on these efforts to curtail access to the ballot, particularly for certain groups. It was 15 or so years ago that Georgia was kind of the pioneer on voter ID laws that were mimicked in states after Georgia passed their law. And now that you have the absence of Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, states are able to pass this kind of legislation without pre-clearance from a Justice Department. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see other states. We already know there's model legislation happening in other states, kind of taking from best practices in GOP state houses. And so we'll see if other states mirror kind of what Georgia apparently has been able to do, because Governor Kemp is expected to sign this legislation tonight.
I think a lot of people have heard about these voter restriction measures, but there's another equally cancerous, pernicious aspect to this, which is the partisan takeover of state elections boards. In this Georgia bill, it's stripping authority from the Secretary of State. Now, in Georgia, that's a man named Brad Raffensperger, who a lot of folks will remember as one of the last men standing in the state against President Trump and his attempts to steal the election there. It's going to make him a non-voting member of the state elections board and will allow lawmakers to initiate takeovers of local elections boards. That is significant, Aaron.
It absolutely is. And listen, for especially Republicans who have long touted kind of states' rights and local control, this is taking local control away from these jurisdictions that have basically been in charge of their own elections. But really, I mean, just overall, this is legislation that is targeting Black voters and their specific strategies to really increase voter turnout. I mean, things like handing out water and food to voters who were standing in line, curtailing Sunday voting. I mean, these are specific strategies that certain communities have used to expand their electorate, and that is what you see these GOP lawmakers responding to, and also I think why you see Democrats really trying to move with urgency at the federal level to pass the For the People Act to really work to deal with this national. The last thing I was just going to add, Alex, is I think you heard people like Stacey Abrams and Mark Elias kind of allude to litigation if Republicans insisted on moving forward with this type of legislation. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like a Mark Elias files tonight.
Yeah, the courts were a very, very important part of the 2020 election story. One would imagine they will be in this story as well. Aaron Haynes, thank you for joining us on this breaking news.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.